What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Espresso, and welcome back to another video here today on the channel. In this one, we're going to be talking about 5 different things that I have here in mind for Call of Duty 2017. Some ideas and some theories that I can throw out there here for you guys, and what we can expect with Call of Duty 2017. But all that said and out of the way, firstly, it needs to be addressed that all of this is theories, speculation, and just fun discussion here with this. None of this is in any way, shape, or form confirmed, and as it stands right now, the game is already 2.5 years into development, so whatever this could be, we could be way off, or we might be just luckily stumbling across what actually may in fact turn out to be Call of Duty 2017. So all this is just some ideas that I've had and compiled, and some ones that I think are plausible to what I don't necessarily think will be plausible, but are still in the realm of possibilities. So take it all with a grain of salt. It's all once again for just fun discussion and theories and speculation, but let's talk about our 5 ways that Call of Duty 2017 could go. Firstly, one of the ones that I think is the most plausible and one that I've been a champion of and kind of thought about for a long time is Call of Duty Vietnam. This actually was something that Sledgehammer worked on previously, and it was then at the time internally named Fog of War. Vietnam was already a project in development and was in the pre-Modern Warfare 3 days. It was worked on in that time frame. There wasn't anything really too laid out, too absolutely made and created in terms of, say, multiplayer, a third mode, and a storyline and all that kind of stuff, but there was in fact 15 minutes playable at the time of Activision offering Sledgehammer a spot in assisting Infinity Ward with Modern Warfare 3. So development was far enough along that there was some sort of little minor story arc. Whether or not that was actually something that was finalized to the point where they had everything laid out, it was just enough to get by into that 15 minutes. But this was then thrown to the side or put to the back burner with Modern Warfare 3's development and how Sledgehammer helped work on Modern Warfare 3 with Infinity Ward. But following the completion of Modern Warfare 3, Sledgehammer was then granted an opportunity at their own title, which we know turned out to be Advanced Warfare. And upon acting on this and creating their own title, that essentially canceled the title of Call of Duty Vietnam or Fog of War. However, Glenn Schofield had mentioned previously that he loved the idea of picking it back up. The Vietnam, that project, held a lot of significance and definitely was something that a lot of the people in the development studio were very fond of, and especially those that were there at the time of working on it, they all loved the idea, and definitely it held some special spot in their hearts at that. So, though while discussing it in the context of a third-person Call of Duty, so not a first-person game like we've known for every single title thus far, he mentioned the idea of picking it right where it left off, and if they ever had the opportunity, they'd love to do that. Now, story ties and concepts are already in place, so it definitely could be something that would very easily be transferred over into the first-person genre and into the development standpoint of making it an FPS game. So, whether or not that actually happens, once again, only time will tell, but it's something that is still, once again, very plausible, simply because there is a huge spot in Sledgehammer's hearts for that game, and, well, it was already something they were working on and had plans laid out for it. So, that said, that brings us to the second idea here, and that actually is an Advanced Warfare 2. Now, I know the notion of a future setting definitely is a turnoff for many. However, the campaign left off in a perfect fashion to set up a sequel, or if need be, act as its own resolution in its own regard. The ending could be final enough to set up a second game in a subtle manner, and the ending sequence of Advanced Warfare's campaign is the best way to showcase that. Spoiler alert, this is the very ending of the campaign, so if you have not played it, skip ahead a little bit here with it, but check out this ending clip from the campaign.
Mitchell! What are you doing? Mitchell! I gave you that arm! Mitchell! I gave you a second chance! Mitchell! I've got you, mate. I've got you.
It was only gonna end one way for him.
Irons gave me a second chance, and I gave it back. He thought he could solve the world's problems. If he did have the answer, he took it with him to the grave. But he was right about one thing. This wasn't the end. it was just the beginning.
So the whole plot line was that Jonathan Irons, played by Kevin Spacey, wanted to bring down governments and impose the will of his own ruling by the force of his own PMC. Atlas went from being the first in the fight to wanting to be a regime controlling the superpowers of the world. Irons is subsequently killed in the campaign at the hands of, or rather, at the arm of, Mitchell, your main character, but the quote at the end is rather intriguing. This wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. Now this could be interpreted a number of ways. Irons no doubt made a fantastic mess of the world with the campaign, sending the world into a near state of World War once again, and in the process developed a chemical weapon and chemical warfare hazard in the likelihood of the Manticore bomb, which, fun plotline story connection, for those that didn't play much of the narrative-based modes, the Manticore bomb is spun into what is the main infectant of the zombies in the Exo Zombies game mode, so that's a cool little tie over there, but still kind of a different story for a different day. But the fallout was never really seen in the campaign. The story in the game end with the death of Irons, which almost ended as abruptly as the ending of Modern Warfare 3. I still think Modern Warfare 3 has a little bit more of that abrupt ending, but regardless, if a sequel were to happen, we could see potentially the continuation of the fight and the restoration of order, taking down Atlas. But that said, if that were to happen, chances are we'd see some of the return of the future tech, exos, and everything alike. So something that I'm sure not many people would really want to see, maybe like a big no-no from the community. But there also is a little alternative to this. This is just a personal theory of mine that I've had for quite some time. The world could see the dependence of exos, they see that they're way too invested into this, and then they see how it controlled their lives, and the fight could then be taken without exos to rebuild and dethrone Atlas without exo boosting or anything like that. So granted, we'd still have a near future time frame, something that is not a modern, present, and past setting here with it, but we would get rid of one of the greater of the two evils, that being the advanced movement, and it would take it back to boots on the ground. So once again, that's just a little bit of my speculation and theory. There's nothing in-game or outside of game as evidence to support that, just a nifty little thought of my own. Now, moving over a little bit here with this, it's now getting into the territory of definitely speculation, definitely maybe far-fetched theories, but something that is still maybe on the table to be possible. It's something that I don't necessarily believe in, but it is still having that shred of possibility, and something that could make sense if they were to do it. Whether or not they actually do, I'm more so leaning towards not, but this next one is Modern Warfare 4. Call of Duty no doubt longs for the golden days, as many would consider, that being the boots on the ground, modern or past setting, realistic, cold hard action. The Modern Warfare series was the most profitable of the franchise, and perhaps one of the most profitable and notable of not only the first-person shooter genre, but also the modern gaming world in the last 10 to 15 years. The lore is still deep and the intrigue is still there, and there's still a few loose ends and questions still unanswered. That said, a Modern Warfare 4 wouldn't be the hardest thing to execute. On top of all that, just saying the name Modern Warfare 4 would create an insane amount of hype, an insane amount of intrigue, and definitely would be something that maybe catapults the sales back up to their normal average standings in terms of game sales and pre-orders and things alike, because a Modern Warfare 4 would just grab everybody from that Modern Warfare series time era and just bring them right back up into the intrigue. Now, how they could execute this, I'm not entirely sure. There's still the cast of characters that we know from the ending of Modern Warfare 3. There is still the cast of the Shadow Company. General Shepard, though he was killed, still had a large number of men underneath him in the Shadow Company, which could have then been interpreted as this rogue force, which they essentially were, but there could be a following subsidiary story with that, hunting down and taking them out as this rogue operation happens. Whatever it may be, there definitely could be something that goes into this, a Modern Warfare 4, that could make it possible. And definitely that name, the continuation of the series, though not made by Infinity Ward, it could do very well. Next up on my list of maybe what could work here is a Modern Warfare 2 spin-off. Now, this is something that I don't take lightly because Modern Warfare 2 is absolutely fantastic. And the idea recently came up, I think, from Chaos Silencer. My good friend Jimmy posted the video. I think it was him. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But the idea was that because there was this little Easter egg within the Modern Warfare Remastered storyline where you can essentially kill and alter the future by killing Makarov in the mission One Shot, One Kill, it's something that it changed the future of the Modern Warfare series, and what if Sledgehammer acted upon that? how that would then drastically change out the way that the storyline unfolded, and with no Makarov, what different things there could be to play into that future storyline. That'd be something that would be interesting to see where that goes. Whether or not it happens, I have no idea, but it definitely would be cool to see a little altered universe and altered reality from what we already knew in the Modern Warfare series. Now, the final thing that I want to discuss about here, number 5, is simply more so a generalization, something that I don't know of how a story would work, because it would be a startup and a brand new way to introduce a new maybe trilogy. But that being a World at War game, a World War II, World War I, whatever it may be, or maybe even a continuation of World at War in the same way a sequel would work if Treyarch were not to do that themselves in a World at War II. The World War eras, like we mentioned here a couple of days ago in a video, is something that is absolutely taking the FPS genre by storm. There's a bunch of different startups coming right now in the next year on the horizon here, and then Battlefield 1 did a fantastic job of bringing that action and that air of the era to modern day FPS games. So that's something that definitely there is now a wave of things coming back with it, and it would be smart to get a little bit of that pie, a piece of that pie if you will, into the name of Call of Duty once again, go back towards that. Granted, some people might not like the adjustment going from far future back to previous times in World War II, World War I, but it's something that for a lot of the die-hard fans, they'd love to see this, especially the old-timers, the ones that were around for World at War and the games previously, say Big Red 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 1, all that good stuff. It definitely would be a cool way to reconnect with them and to reinvent the era in the FPS genre. So I definitely think there's a lot of different ways that we could take this. Obviously, once again, none of this is in any way, shape, or form confirmed. It's all theories, speculations, and just minor thoughts on the topic of what Call of Duty 2017 may in fact be. Once again, we are getting closer, ever so closer, right around the late March, mid-April, early May is when we get our first stuff, our first leaks, teases, and official images from Call of Duty for the next title. So we got a little bit of time left, but they might start a little bit earlier this year given how Infinite Warfare has been received, how much people may be looking towards the next title already, and things like that. But no doubt, it's definitely something that time will tell. Once again, we're 2.5 years into development of this game, so we could be way off, we could not even hit the mark at all, or maybe we coincidentally stumble upon what actually might be Call of Duty 2017. So that said, I would love to hear your thoughts here on this. I just wanted to bring you guys some of this cool stuff, some speculation, some theory on it. What are your thoughts? What do you guys think with this? What do you think 2017 will be focused on? Any of the above that we mentioned, or do you think it's going to be something entirely different? Whatever it is, I'd love to hear your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. And that's going to wrap it up. So thank you dudes so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything Call of Duty 2017 and Modern Warfare Mastered, Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, anything Call of Duty, we got you covered here on the channel. Finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get connected with me here. If you guys want to just have a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But thank you dudes so much for watching. Mine's been Nikolai Espresso. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.